Welcome to Rauta. This video is done in commercial collaboration with our sponsor, Steelfest. Hello guys and gals and welcome to Rauta's recap of Inferno 2023 festival. It's done now, been for a week now, technically speaking, running from Thursday to Sunday last week. And having suffered through my post-festival depression, it's time to do a little bit of recap what was going on and what kind of stuff uh, the whole event was. I mean, which bands to even talk about, and what there is to really to tell you about how I made it. Now this sounds so ridiculous start, but let's do it. I don't have a script for this like always. I just took out of my head and beat as made. Now, given that this was 4 days full of friends, metal, interesting gig, obviously, some interviews and all that stuff. I am thinking this was one of my highlights for year 2023, especially so far, that is. It's pretty much like past couple of years. It's been like Inferno is the Easter highlight and, well, Steelfest later on, but these two events are so special to me now that I have had the pattern of going both for a couple of years. And what can I say? I always get this post-festival depression when I've had very, very good time among friends and, new and old, and seeing those bands and, just in general, enjoying traveling. Now, those of you who have been following me quite some times know that I do love, in fact, to travel. So that is always the number one cue. Get out of your home country and to see something else. It's not even about bands or friends when it comes to that. Not this is the most important thing, but it's something worth mentioning when we're talking about why these festival trips are so goddamn important. Now people are expecting, yeah, but the bands are the main thing, right? Not exactly. I mean, it sounds kind of a weird that you actually go to travel to a festival where you are expected to see some bands and do interviews and, well, stuff like that. Or in my case, my photographers, which I will show you soon, having their Instagram pages open here. Um, no, in fact, it's more about people. It's about meeting your old friends and making new friends, meeting like-minded people. I mean, whether the people are on stage to present the shows, whether they're doing interviews with me, or just, having beers with me, talks with me, it's not about me, of course. It's about those people. I'm a people person, despite some misanthrope lurking inside of myself, my inner self, and all that stuff. But still, it's about people. And of course, it's about music. Now, these festivals wouldn't be important if it wasn't about the bands that perform, the bands that play those gigs, the bands that make all this happen. It's the reason why we gather here like a pack of dogs or wolves, like you like saying. And this is how it is. So for me, it's kind of a like I always say it's a triangle. Like it's one triangle here are the gigs, and another corner here is the people, and another one is the work, which in my case means interviews, and this times also short videos, which I like to do because this was a pilot run for them, like showcasing what's happening almost real time. So short snippets of those people being interviewed, and also a little bit Marty humor added to the thing. And these were posted this time not only on Instagram, which I usually have done previously, but Instagram, Facebook, and of course Rauta's this actual channel. So instead of daily videos, I did that, and it seems people like that. So it was a pilot run, which I think I will be doing in the future as well. So I am trying to give you like the real-time thing, like what was going to happen, because the interviews always take a little bit more time being edited and all. And of course, whatever photography there is. And this time I had help from two different people. I had the help from Carl of Necrolust production, who was mainly there to, do video work, but also took fantastic photos. And you can see his work on Instagram and Facebook. So whichever you prefer, great stuff and with a great man. And with him, I did a couple of interviews, Blood Red Throne, and he was also there to do the Suitor interview. Also, Elsa, my great partner in crime, she just recently opened a new Instagram account on top of her previous one, Elsa Wellamo, but I don't know. She will probably update this Elsa Perkele account later on with festival photos as soon as she has edited. She's actually in the middle of changing things like separating this previous account, Elsa Vellamo, which is includes a lot of non-metallic or non-musical content, let's put it this way. And hence I don't have here this backdrop, but two different accounts, and I will include these links here so you can check out both accounts. Just wait a little bit that Elsa has her time to, you know, add the photos here and you will enjoy them. But meanwhile, you can just already go to Necrolust. Both are very, very good people doing their job extremely well. Like I did 4 interviews with Elsa being the camera woman, taking care of the camera and all that stuff. So I could really focus on the talk with the artist. And now you're asking, what are these artists I did? Well, or we did. It's we, not just me. It was Watain, Nordgivel, Zürer, Blood Red Throne, Odium and Vulture Industries. Now, if you really paid attention to what I just said, it's kind of a weird list because if you really think, let's see if this, no, goddamn it, the old list is already gone. Okay, let's just screw it then. Now, if you really paid attention, what I was just listing is that only a couple of bands of those actually played at the venue. Now, as you might know, usually go for 2 bands per given day. That is like not too much workload on the interview, so we actually have the time to do, see the gigs, be with the people, do a little bit networking, and just kind of get the general hustle work around. Of course, there are after parties. Of course, you will see me just checking out some of the bands and hanging out with my friends. So you really can't have too many bands because otherwise the whole house of cards will fall apart and things will be just overlapping with the crazy schedule. But so I usually go for 2 interviews per day. I was planning to do 8. That is 4 days, two interviews per day, and all that stuff. Now, the funny thing is, only of those playing there at the festival, which were previously planned, basically only Watain and Odium took place. This is not much of an achievement, but let me put it this way. There were plans to do, for example, Nile interviews and Nervosa interviews, both not happening for various schedule reasoning. There were plans to do a Bath interview, which were cancelled due to some medical condition, for the lack of a better word, the last minute. And it wasn't even supposed to happen because a lot of people say it's not going to happen because maybe the band is not doing interviews, but there was a good chance of it happening maybe next time. Vulture Industries, for example, just came like through the label contacts. Hey, would you like to do it? Yes, I would because I don't even have enough interviews. And why not? It's not like I want to just focus on extreme metal stuff and all that stuff. So, that was kind of like a black horse running out of nowhere and ending up in an interview. I'm, of course, happy to do it, but that was kind of unexpected. Then again, Blood Red Throne was very much decided on the spot because they came very late in order to replace 1914 from Ukraine, which I guess from kind of obvious reasons couldn't play there. So they replaced the band, and then my man Carlo was like, "Hey, would you like to do Blood Red Throne? We can do it because now they're playing." And I was like, "Of course, it's a good band, and why not?" So Suitor was, of course, planned, but they didn't play there because that was about their new album, Pre-Listening Session, which was, by the way, a good album. Already based on one thing, on one listen, I would say, yes, it's a fierce, good Norwegian black metal, which is supposed to happen, and come out in June, and did the interview with the guys after the pre-listening, and I'm very, very happy about it. Now, if I had to name my favorite one, which is something that I never should do because, some people are like, hey, why our interview wasn't the favorite? But this goes for 2 reasons. First of all, I think it was the longest, and in that respect, also the deepest, and in terms of band size-wise, the most important one, and that would be What Time. Now, that is coming out soon, but the first one will be Nordgivel, another one I'm really proud of because really good new wave of Norwegian black metal, and that will be coming first already next week. Patreon supporters always, of course, have a head start for this. They have already started to see it. I mean, it's their inbox or whatever, and it will be out a week later for the rest of you people. Now, What Time will have the same treatment. By the time Nordjvel is going public, What Time is supposed to be with the Patreon supporters, and it goes public a week later. Then would be following with Audium, which was, by the way, my most hilarious, my most relaxed interview so far. People who are, people who hate laughing, people who hate humor and goofy moments, don't watch it. But I'm really proud of it. First of all, it is so kind of a heartwarming moment. This is just some kind of a discussion which is not usually present with my interviews, but also because I can say the people involved in the interviews are my friends, and there's a kind of a different chemistry. And you will also find another reason for that when you view the interview. It is really one of my favorite, but not the same reasons as, for example, Vatain or Nordjvel for that matter. But all in all, I am still quite happy with 6 interviews done. Of course, I'm not totally 100% happy because I didn't get 8 out of 8. And because of the last minute cancellations. For example, Nile, it's a shame it didn't happen, but sometimes what can you do? It's not like always the bands are at the festival hotel and things go as planned. Now, to the other part of the whole event, like how were the shows, my man? Which were the best bands? There were lots of bands which wasn't exactly like my cup of tea. And I'm not gonna go negative, so I'm just gonna ignore the bands which were not that good, which I saw. Of course, I didn't saw every band, all the bands, because just too much happening, and interviews after kind of overlapping with the schedule, especially early in the afternoon, and sometimes when you keep after parties until 8:30 in the morning, you need a nap. I missed actually one important band because of that, but I will see it later this year, so it's not a big deal. But the ones that were like in my highlight moments, I would say 3 bands top the game really, and that was Cannibal Corpse. Always very brutal, always very super pro and entertaining and heavy, and of course with good songs. So that's kind of a no-brainer in that sense. What Time then again was the most visual show, most I guess wholesome show. There was blood, there was fire, there was fierce aggressiveness on the stage and all that stuff. Not to mention they played, of course, a lot of songs from the Nero album, all albums probably overall, but I mean it was visually easily the most stunning live. So for various reasons, in a way, better than Cannibal Corpse, but music-wise, I'm a little bit more on the Cannibal Corpse side. Now, the most surprising good show, however, was by a Bath. I haven't seen them before, and I really didn't have that high expectations. I was expecting kind of a okay, quite a good show and all that stuff. But it was, I don't know, there was some kind of energy with all the smoke and all the fierce songs and just, good feeling overall. So those 3 would be my highlight moments of the whole festival. Runner-ups would probably include bands like Diarrhea, once again Fierce. I didn't see it full show, but then again, which one I really see. That was definitely one of the good ones. Odium, definitely worth mentioning, and I guess in one way I would say Arcturus. I don't even like the music that much. Actually, I went like after 3 songs out because it wasn't my cup of tea. But I still can't say those guys had a good sound. They had a good momentum going on the stage, and the funny hats and representation. Like they kind of made it clear we're not a black metal band. We're something different, more artistic. So while at the same time it isn't my cup of tea, at least I can say these guys made a show. Not maybe a Vatain level kind of a thing, but still. So obviously there were lots of different bands catering to lots of different tastes, from brutal death metal to fierce black metal to more artistic kind of a music, even to kind of a black and roll, like with Slegest and things like that. So it was an interesting variety overall with the given bands and all that stuff. And one could say at least it didn't get you boring. Now, my only criticism is, but this kind of is like so self-explanatory and obvious that really can't take it as a negative way. But this is something that you might think about in case you're wondering whether or not you should go to Oslo to see Inferno festival because I think it's a fantastic festival for many reasons, which are already listed. The bands, the people. Oslo is a nice city also, and all that stuff. But it's gonna kind of take you to like Norwegian black metal. I mean, Norway loves Norway. That's kind of a given. One of the most national countries in the world, or national romantic countries in a way. This is not a bad thing, obviously, if you don't mind it. If you do like Norwegian black metal, like I do, but you kind of have to embrace that in Norway, Norwegianism is always on the top of the game. So when you go to Inferno, for example, you kind of have to prepare yourself mentally already. It's going to be some of the biggest bands always. You know, things like Mayhem, Emperor, Enslaved, Take, Gorgoroth, whatever. The only one which you're going to miss out of those big early bands from Norwegian black metal scene are obviously, Burzum and Dogthrone. For obvious reasons, they don't do gigs. But basically all the other big bands, it doesn't even matter like where you go. Hey, Dimmu Borgir here, Gorgoroth there, Ember, you kind of get it. And the rest kind of comes second. That's not a bad thing, like I said, if you like Norwegian black metal, but just to kind of give you a pointer if you're already planning. Um, to me, if I was asked like which year were better, 2022, 2023, I really could put a finger on it because on lineup wise, I would say, yeah, year 2022. But when it comes to meeting people and hanging out, having after parties and doing those interviews, they're kind of equal. On the other hand, last year I made more interviews, which makes me more happy. But this year, I guess I made even more friends. So it's kind of hard to put them in the balance and, like figure out on the scale, like which one is better. It's a great festival, and in case you do happen to like club festivals instead of just the open air ones, there's no reason why not to go to Norway. The hotel is awesome. I must say the Clarion Hotel, the hub, not only location but the 5 out of 5 star breakfast. A lot of people being there. It's in the core of the city. Just by the railway station, it's easy to get in. 5 minutes walk and you're to the Rockefeller venue to see the bands, whereas John D is downstairs. Everything is in the middle. So it's easy to just connect the dots and, plan your schedule and all the stuff. This year, as an added bonus, there was this kind of a museum and things already also happening. So in case you want to do some history stuff, it's also walking distance to many places. So overall, I think visiting Oslo from a traveler point of view is good. Music-wise, very, very good. I mean, after all, if you're into extreme metal, you're kind of bound to do it. And all these locations, people, blah, blah, blah. Downside number one is Norway is kind of expensive. Once you get over that, once you have your budgets figured out and all that stuff, there's nothing really to bitch about. So unless things drastically change, you're most likely going to see me at Inferno 2024. Who knows what kind of things there will be, but just been enjoying myself so much past 2 years, past to Inferno, so it's like it almost feels like a mandatory thing, much like me going to Steelfest pretty much every year. So there's that. Or already feeling the post-festival depression kicking in again. No, 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 I'm not that sentimental person, but you know what I mean. These are the events and people we're happy to be alive, to see those bands, to see these people, and just enjoy our stay. So, was it a good festival? Damn straight. Could I have done more interviews? I only wish I could. Let's hope next year will be easier. This year was a little bit chaotic and messy in that department, but I really don't find a culprit for that. All various reasons why some interviews get cancelled and some get replaced and all that stuff, but I'm happy what we have here, so prepare for next 6 weeks or so and you will get those interviews. And meanwhile, entertain yourself with Necrolust production photos as well as Elsa's photos whenever they are coming here. She's probably editing and already uploading it this weekend now that she knows that it is mentioned here on this video. So check out the photos, check out the lineups, start planning your budget for next year so you're not gonna miss and be bitter about it. Inferno Festival, great stuff, and maybe I will see you there next year. This is Rauta. Bye bye.